During a Ask Me Anything session on Reddit, a user asked, did the name Erma come from anything or anyone in particular? The name was inspired from a character from the Ninja Turtles, Erma. My friends told me it was spelt wrong, but it grew on me, so I used it anyway. I'm guessing they've never heard of Erma Bombeck. Is there any fan art of that? I'm kinda curious. We begin our story with Sam greeting a unexpected guest. Family. It turns out they had a get-together planned with Uncle Michael, Aunt Reagan, and Cousin Emily. As the little top proceeds to literally run circles around Erma, Emiko requests her to go get her bag. And, okay, this is pretty good. As a refresher, I mentioned in the last video that I didn't find the dynamic of Erma not being creepy in her costume kinda phony, even if I did suspend my disbelief. But this is the kind of cartoon logic I can get behind. First of all, Emily completely shrugs off the scare, which I can believe. 2, Erma climbs up the wall rather than taking the stairs because why not? And 3, when Emily tries the same thing, Erma comes back and gives her a piggyback ride! It's too precious! Oh, and while we have Halloween on the mind, I did forget to mention this small plot point. There's a little bit where Felicia's a little disappointed about missing her Halloween party, and that's what leads Erma to start this whole spooky, scary skeleton segment. Come to think of it, it seems like everyone was just freaked out by the long hair. I guess that confirms that theory. Anyway, back on topic. Erma leaves Emily idle, while the latter, in typical childlike fashion, goes ahead and invades Erma's room. We get a small glimpse of this evil dummy and Erma's unicorn collection. I would go into more detail about it, but they're not really the primary focus for this storyline, so I'll save them for the future. Suffice to say, Emily is giving a pretty rough first impression for Erma, the latter of which wants nothing to do with the former. The mood does lighten up when the two youngsters engage into a draw battle. Shifting focus to Sam and Mike discussing their hunting trip, they decided to bring Cyrus along. When the hunting bros get there and take in their surroundings, Cyrus almost gets caught in a bear trap that was already set up in the back of Mike's truck. There's this snip that implies that Mike had this bear trap set up for shady intent, but the story quickly drops it afterwards, so I guess this is potential build-up towards another story. At the time of this video's release, Mike's only other appearance was in Spirits Bloom, a prequel novel, which I haven't read yet, so I got nothing. Watch the boulder almost crush the dog. We cut away to this short scene where Emily's juvenile tendencies influence Erma to get a little messy. And of course the nail polish was red. She probably would have looked a little like this had this been in color. Well, the boys aren't doing any better since Cyrus just keeps getting in the way. Get a load of this. In the next shot, we see Cyrus escape his collar, yet the next panel we see him, it's back on. After multiple duds and a bit of snarky forethought, they think about packing up due to nothing happening, but the rifle says otherwise. I'm just gonna let this next page play out. That always cracks me up. I especially like it when he pulls out the rifle and shoots him again. Like, what are you doing, dude? Not to take away from this scene, but on the Blairwood version of this, the "Give me the gun" panel is listed on here twice, so unless they wanted to emphasize Sam's tone, it's probably just an oversight. But anyway, Cyrus is immortal! Anyway, Sam and Mike ponder on how they're going to explain this, but Cyrus already spills the beans. No, I'm not kidding. He gives the whole freaking beans on this situation. Although, how does him coughing up the bullets instantly trace back to them? Couldn't he have just fibbed about it? Whatever.
Reagan smash!
And our story ends off on a good note. Mostly good note, but still pretty good. Alright, we got a lot to deconstruct here, so first things first. Emily is annoying, but only to the characters, not us. If this was written with less care, I could see there would be a lot more scenarios of Emily tormenting Erma. We all know that trope. The little character would do nothing but cause issues, disasters, messes, and anything you can think of, and of course the main character would get blamed for it. There's probably a better way to word that, but you get what I mean. But they don't do that. It's made abundantly clear that it's all within just juvenile fun. Not just with how Emily is portrayed, but honestly, Erma throughout the comic. And she isn't just a constant thorn in Erma's side, they do bond occasionally in a very organic and appealing way. For as little as I sit on the nail salon scene, it's one of those cases though where they're definitely taking influence. And the ending though definitely captivates an overall promising relationship. Though despite that she's on the cover of the book, I'd actually argue the greater focus is put on Sam and Max. Dang it. Sam and Michael's scenario. That rifle scene always cracks me up. And I even did find their back and forth bickering a little entertaining. Definitely got the vibe these two were close brothers. Even though the dialogue is a little rough and stilted at points. This remains continuous throughout the series. And when you see how much better the art has gotten, it's kinda hard to ignore. At the end of the day, it's more vanilla chatter. And honestly, I'd be down to see more Drake and Josh-esque scenarios between these two. Evidently, they probably would inject Erma in there, sort of like a certain other tale. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I guess to give a quick overview over all the arcs we've covered, I'll rank them from my most to least favorite. After this final arc, we come on to one last section called Sketches, showing older concepts of the babysitter that still seem like it made it in the final product, and this prototype of Cyrus's large monster form. Reminds me of something you'd see in Off. You know, I feel kinda bad for him. He was brought into existence only to be stuck into a box that was way too small for him. Poor guy. Maybe Jerome can get him a role in the next Suits game. At the time of this release, the collection currently retails for $20 plus shipping. To be honest, that's pretty steep for what's offered here. Minus a couple gripes, the collection itself is overall fine, but aside from the 4 stories, which you can just see free online, there's hardly any exclusive content. If you're interested in picking it up, I'd say grab something along with it. Which is the perfect segue to bring up these collections. They're a bit shorter on their own, but they do include their own exclusive comics. For as immense as chaotic as some of the news stories I've got, it really takes back to what made the series so much fun. They go for $5 a piece, so these are my personal recommendations. Whichever ones you want to go for, that's up to you. And that will do it for Tales of the Blairwood Ghoul. The review's over by the way, but I got a few special thanks to make if you want to stick around. I just want to give a big shout out to the Erma community. You guys have been awesome, very welcoming, very creative. You guys have it's been some of the best experiences I've had with any sort of fandom out there. I'll put some links in the description if you're interested in joining up, or if you just want to meet up with other fans. And I want to give a humongous thank you to Brandon Santiago. I actually said it right this time. Not just for creating an amazing series, but also for promoting my videos on said series. I am very, very grateful for this. Thank you so much. If by chance you're watching this, please keep doing this. Now, I don't mean like promoting my videos. I mean, although I wouldn't mind, but anyway, keep recommending fan works. You know, videos, fan art, well-written fan fictions. Just keep putting it out there. Just keep showing what this community has made. There's so much talent. There's so much great work out there that this community has done. I would love to see more of it. Honestly, this feeling of being promoted by the actual creator who makes this stuff, it feels amazing. And I want other people to feel it. I want other people to have it. They've made some truly amazing things, so please just keep going. Keep doing this. It's awesome. So once again, thank you very much, guy who drew the Godzilla video game crossover pictures at G-Fest. I hope you all found these videos informal and at least a little entertaining. There's going to be more Erma. I haven't even scratched the surface for what this series has to offer, and from the looks of it, it just seems like it's gonna get even crazier, so I'm excited. Originally I was gonna cover the next set of comics, but I'll save you for later. Since I'm already talking about the main run, let's tackle the next 4 story arcs. Dirty Secret to Fundraiser Fazasco. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, because the percentage thing doesn't actually match up though. Be sure to check out my Twitter, Patreon, you know, all that YouTube pandering stuff because, well, YouTube sure loves its small audience. I'm Mr. Game Guy. Have a nice day. Oh, there's also this dodgeball one. It's not really a full story, but Gym teacher sets up for gratuitous violence, kids get clobbered, teacher gets his comeuppance. Alright, I've covered everything.